before we start, first of all, feel free to ask any question you want. We have a chat area. Some of you already wrote just to say hi. You can write all the questions you want. To avoid interruptions, we'll just go through the presentation, and then if at the end of the presentation you still have a question, we'll start reading all the questions you may have. Again, you can write a question whenever you want. We'll just acknowledge them and answer them at the end in case throughout the keynote presentation we didn't answer already. So, who we are. This is Miami Wave is a family-owned club. My wife Mia and I own the club, direct the club. We founded it in 2019. It seems like a century ago, for sure. Pandemic ago. We moved to Miami in 2019. We decided to open the club in Carrollton School. We started with 40 players between Little Waves, that is our developmental program for elementary school kids, and 2 competitive teams. We're now at 400 kids. We want to spend 1 second to thank you all for being part of this big volleyball family, or just for showing your interest, for willing to become part of this community. Even if our club is probably the youngest one in Miami, we are not new to volleyball. So both Mia and I have actually, volleyball has been our own life. I've coached the national team at different level in Italy for more than 10 years. I coached in the Pro League. Before moving to Miami, we were in California where I was able to coach in a great school where we won a state title. At this point, I coached more than 25 years. So this has been my whole life. Part of it with pro players, part of it with young generation, young players, trying to help them, first of all, learning life lesson, and second thing, expressing their best volleyball they can. The other director is Coach Mia. She's here. I will introduce her, and then.
Hi. Thank you for joining.
I will tell you a couple of things about Mia. Mia was one of the youngest players playing in Serie A, that is the top pro division in Italy. That is like the NBA for volleyball. She started playing there when she was 15, 14. She doesn't know. She works in education like me. So Mia works at MDC, where's the assistant chair of the Fashion Institute. I'm the assistant athletic director at Carrollton School. So we both work in education. We both had a long history in volleyball, and if we are who we are right now, it's just because of the sport that we played and the way we played it. So when we came to Miami 4 years ago, we had this dream of creating a school of volleyball and giving ourselves the chance to pass all those values, those life lessons that we learned throughout the years to young women like the girls that we are lucky enough to have in our club right now. So we have a big coaching staff, most of all for our size. That is not one of the biggest clubs in Miami. I will not go through all of them. We will need too much time. I just want to introduce some new faces and some new coaches that will join us this year. We are super happy of the coaching staff that we have. The first one that you see on the left is Ciro Zoratti. Ciro has been with us since 2 years ago. He was one of the team coaches in 2021-22. Now he's the director of all our activities in Europe. We are starting in 2 weeks. Well, actually, no, in 1 week. We are starting our second summer camp in Italy. We doubled it compared to last year, so we have 2 weeks of camp. We are super excited. He's taking care of it, and then he will be responsible for other activities that we are planning for the years to come. He will come here during the winter to help us out also with some clinics and camps. So Ciro, even if now he's not here full-time anymore, is still a big part of our club. You know Steven Soriano, in case you don't know him, he was the assistant coach of the U23 Puerto Rican national team. He's now the assistant coach at Barry University for indoor and the head coach for the beach volleyball program that we start in spring 2024. Raquel West is one of our new hires. We're super excited about having her. She will move to Texas, where she was the head coach of a national club team in Austin, and she was also the owner of a school of volleyball, mainly on private lessons, small group classes, that she managed for the past 3 years. She's moving to Miami. She will work full time with us, so you would see her a lot because she will also work in the administration. You know Taylor Morris, so I don't think that you need any introduction. Anyway, Taylor was with us since I think year number 2. He was a Division I player. Actually, he was an NCAA national champion. He was the assistant at FIU a while ago, I would say more or less 10 years ago. He has more than 10 years of coaching experience. He's a great coach. He's a great teacher of volleyball. He's a master in teaching the skills of volleyball, so we are happy that he's coming back. Then page number 2, we have Rafael Rey, that is our strength and conditioning coach. For the ones that don't know it, for our travel teams, and we will explain you how we divide the different programs, how the different teams are. Travel program. The travel teams are the Aqua and Teal teams. He manages all the strength and conditioning program for all those travel teams. Plus, he will manage the conditioning part during the first part of the season, so the one that we call pre-season or boot camp. That is a non-mandatory period of the season, since it overlaps with school volleyball, where all our team, doesn't matter if they travel or don't, have access to skill development plus conditioning. And we have Catherine Shara, that was already with us last year. She also coached at Carrollton School, and she will go on working with us. She was a high school and college Hall of Fame. She coached for high school and club for more than 6 years now, and she will continue working with us. We have some returning coaches like Alana Perez, Elizabeth Fernandez, and then I just stay on the new faces. Christina Oyawale, she is the Atterbury University assistant coach. She was a former Syracuse assistant coach 3 years ago, and she was a Division I player, NCAA, plus she coached in club for several years. So a little bit about us. If you have been with us for a while, I mean, you know us, so you probably don't need any additional slide. For the ones that don't know us, has never played with us, we know that volleyball will not be forever for everyone. We are sure that there are players that are aiming to play in college, that want to play professionally, and it's great to have a dream. But at the same time, less than 1% of the kids that play volleyball in club or school end up playing volleyball in college. That doesn't mean that volleyball is not something that will be so important for the whole life of your daughters. And it's very relatable to my life, to Mia's life, to many of our coaches' life that move from playing from player career to coaching career, or they do other jobs. Volleyball or sport itself, I think they give you so many life lessons and life values that doesn't matter if you end up playing volleyball for your whole life or not, but it really form you, and it really show you a lot of good attitudes that you will bring with you in your social life, in your work life. So when we opened the club, one of our ideas was to use volleyball, but other than for volleyball itself, obviously we try to teach the right technique, the right mechanics, and take out the best volleyball players we can from your daughters. But on the other hand, teach them how to become strong women and future leaders. Volleyball is a great sport because volleyball is the only sport where passing the ball is a rule. It's not an option. It's mandatory. So you learn a lot about team sport and about on how to work in a team together with others. Is the sport where the ratio between surface of the court and number of players is the lowest. So there's no other sport where you have so many players in such a small court. So you can really learn how to communicate with each other and work with each other. So we really think that volleyball goes beyond volleyball. So yes, we're teaching volleyball, but we are teaching way more than volleyball. Discipline, how to stay with other people that have the same goal that you have. So we think that's the most important part of our job. We teach and treat players with respect, but at the same time, we treat them with honesty. And we think that an important part of what we do is, make them stronger. That doesn't mean just saying always how great you are. So we address things that work in the same way we address things that don't work and need change. So we try to teach the girls to get in an uncomfortable zone for them and trying to be better of who they are today. So yes, we are proud of who they are, but at the same time, our goal is to teach them that there's a better version of who they are somewhere. So who they are today is good, but it can be better. And we try to bring them in an uncomfortable area where they have to try things that they still don't know, and they have to learn how to be someone that they're still not. So we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page in case you come with us. Yes. So again, we try to maintain always a positive environment, but at the same time, it's not all cotton candy and unicorns. It's about grit. It's about getting in the mud, get dirty, and get better, because who you are today is good, but it can be better. So get out of your comfort zone and let's explore together what version of yourself is out there can be better than who you are today. And this goes into the topic that you see on the top, that is about striving for excellence. So I'm sure that many of you have the same goal academically. So you expect your daughters to excel excel in their own way. Yeah, don't get me wrong. In school, we are just an extension of the classroom, nothing more than that. So the idea is that the same effort that you as a family or their teacher or your girls, since you teach them, you expect from them, or the girls expect from themselves in the classroom, there's the same kind of effort and drive that we expect from the girls, and we try to teach to the girls in the gym. Nothing else, because at the end of the day, we think that excellence is a way of being. It's not, if you get an A or a B or a C at school, that's not related. It's how you approach something that you want to do. So what we teach the girls is to approach it in the only way that for us it makes sense, and I think it's pretty evident from how Mia and I lived our volleyball life, that there's no other way to do things other than giving your 101%. If we are just there to survive, probably we are not in the right place. Okay, first of all, for your daughter, because they could do something way better and way more fun. And second thing, for the rest of the team, because probably it's not respectful for anyone, for your time, for your money, and for the players that are in the gym. So we expect from everyone, and obviously we are there to teach them, that we are there to take out the best we can from what we do and from the time that we spend together. So we're not there to do anything else other than that. So just to give you an idea of our club overall, since many of the girls, unfortunately, just go in the gym with their 11 teammates and their coaches, and they think that they're just part of that. We try to do as much as we can to show the girls that it's way more than that, that it is a big community. But, at the end of the day, you live your day with your teammate, and that's nice. But for you to have an idea, yes, we have the competitive teams, that is the teal circle MW that you see in the middle. But we have Little Waves, that is our elementary school kids program. It's a revisited volleyball version for kids from 5 years old to 10 years old. We play 3 versus 3 with small nets. It's super fun. It comes from the European school, where everyone until 11 years old play this version of volleyball, where we bring volleyball to the measure of the kid, to the height and abilities of the kids, more than asking kids to play adult volleyball. So we play 3 versus 3 with special rules, lighter balls. It's super fun. One day, if you want to come in the gym, come and take a look, because it's one of the most exciting things that we have at Little Waves, for sure. And we have summer waves, so all our camps, they started in the second week of June. June now is sold out, but we still have some spot in July, and we will go on with clinics. Not many, yes, and we will go on with clinics in August. So at the beginning of school, that's when we stop summer waves. Then we have wave training, that is our non-competitive program for middle school and first year of high school. So for those ones that don't want a team commitment, so they don't want to be committed the whole year, or they're still not ready to play competitive, we have classes twice a week, starting from October until May. Many of these girls, end up trying out for teams and starting playing competitive the year after. Then we have Wave Italy, that I was telling you before. It's our summer camp in Italy. We are also planning tournaments for the years to come. So our plan is to bring at least one team to play a tournament in Italy, and in the meantime, obviously, we do some tourism in the same way we do it during the summer camps there. Okay, so we explain you a bit on who we are. We immediately start with this slide, so that you can have a clear idea, if not a clear idea, but at least an idea, generic idea, if this can be a good fit for you or not, meaning that we have some requirements. Again, we started in 2019, 2 years in COVID. This year we got our first USA volleyball bid, national bid. So we were able, actually Mia's team was able to get to the USA Volleyball National. It's a great achievement for us, even if it's not our main goal. We measure our success on other things. So every year, the quality of the teams got better, our structure got better. We're still a startup, but things are improving year after year. We're super happy of the community that we have right now. So the things that players that started with us now are growing up and they're able to succeed and to get a bid at the USA Volleyball National makes us obviously super happy. But with this, obviously also the requirements to be part of a team have to become stricter, also to support the goals that we have in our mind. So one of them, and this is something that we hope to struggle year after year less, is the full commitment to the team, meaning that we understand that there are a lot of families, we have kids, and we understand that it's not easy to just commit on one thing only, but we ask our families to understand that your commitment is a sort of binding contract with other families, meaning that in the moment that we draw the season, so we give you a practice schedule and we give you a tournament schedule, we as a club organization, we suppose and we want to work so that every family is fully committed into the volleyball season, because again, it's a team sport. So the fact that your daughter comes or doesn't come to practice, the fact that your daughter that comes or doesn't come to a tournament doesn't affect your daughters only, obviously mainly your daughter, but also the team for several reasons. So let's talk about practice, for example. If your daughter doesn't come to practice, and every practice we introduce a new concept, that can be a technical one or a tactical one, and she falls behind, it means that when she comes back, we have to spend time again, and so the team has to spend time again to bring everyone on the same page. Okay, same thing for tournament. There are families that plan vacations and plan other commitments always around volleyball. And our rotations or our performances, the lineup, subs during tournaments have their pattern. So if a player doesn't show up to an important tournament, to a qualifier, it's not just about your daughter that loses the chance to get better during a tournament, but it's also about the competitiveness of our team that obviously doesn't have the chance to express itself as it would deserve. So we really hope to attract families that are willing to fully commit to the season and fully commit to the team. Okay, not only for a volleyball itself, but also to teach these girls that once that you get a commitment with other people, you stick with it. Even if there's something fun to do outside of there, in the moment we get into a contract or I give my word, that's it. That's something that I have to stick with. The other thing, and we don't want to waste other time on this, is the love for excellence. So the idea that we want people that are there to become their best version of themselves. If we are there just for friendship or because my friend played or because maybe, I want to try volleyball, there are other ways to start. The last concept is that we are looking for players that, first of all, are willing to get in their uncomfortable zone, and that they know, and families that support this concept, that things must be earned. So too many times in every club, in every single club in Miami, in the US, I would say in the world, because it happened also in Europe. It seems like playing time is granted because is included in the fee. The idea that we want to pass to these girls is that things must be earned. So the way you practice your discipline, your respect, your coachability, your attitude, your presence at every single event, those are things that make you earn things, because that's real life. Again, we go back to the original concept that we were talking about. Volleyball is just a tool to learn life lessons. So this is the same thing. So we want girls that are willing to earn things, and that they understand that the way you act then brings a result, and it's what give you eventually what you're aiming and what you're willing for. Okay, so let's get more in the structure of the season. Again, every club does things differently. Many clubs start in November, once that the school season is done. For the ones that are new to volleyball, even in school, since we have many U11 and U12 starting with volleyball this year. There are two volleyball seasons mainly. One is the school season that start for high school, start at the beginning of August, mid-half of August, and ends at the end of October, I would say. And the middle school season start with the beginning of school and ends in mid-October. So normally, club season doesn't overlap with school. Okay, we do more or less the same, so we try not to overlap. But at the same time, we want to give the chance to those players that want to practice more, or maybe they don't have volleyball in school, or they were not part of a school team, the chance to practice already in October. So what we do is that we have a pre-season that is from October to November 5. It's a 5 weeks season in which we do 2 practices a week. Doesn't matter what team you're on, it's 2 practices a week. It's always skill development. So during these 5 weeks, we don't go through tactic, strategy, or team-related situation. It's about technique. So we do technical development and conditioning. Okay, so 2 sessions a week for, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 weeks, from October 2 to November 5, probably therefore. Then from November 6 until May 19, that's the team season, meaning that after a sort of introduction in which we introduce to skill concepts that are the same for every team. Okay, so it doesn't matter who your coach is. We try to give a common ground to everyone. Many of these classes will be led by the club directors. So there's a common ground for everyone. And then from November 6th, so when the school season is officially over, then we get into team practices, where in addition to the skill development, you get into obviously team concept, your system, strategy, and so on. The season goes from November. Obviously, we stop for Thanksgiving, we stop for Christmas, we stop 3-4 days for Easter. Other than that, the season goes on normally. Tournaments will go from December until May. Then for the aqua and teal teams, so for the travel teams, there will be the AAU National in Orlando, okay? Or for the teams that qualify for the USA Volleyball Nationals, USA Volleyball Nationals, wherever they will be next year. I don't remember. There are black teams, so the local teams, the ones the regional teams, the ones that play tournaments that are more in the area, that anyway participate to the AAU Nationals. But while for the Aqua and Teal teams, the AAU Nationals are included in the fee, so you will see that the fees are higher also because there's 1 month of extra season plus a big tournament of 4 days tournament in Orlando at the end of June. But at the same time, black teams, let's say in February, normally we send out a survey to all the black team families asking if they're in to play the AAU Nationals, and if they are, we just add a fee for the summer, form the team, obviously as all the returning player plus eventually other players.
Oh no, they're here. Everything good?
Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so as I was telling, thank you. A lot of thumbs up. Thank you, guys. As I was telling you, now you tried out or you're planning to try out in July. Okay, you will receive an offer letter, and we will talk about the process later. But since I know that this is one of the
You have to reshare.
Sorry, guys. Share window. Please. Okay, can you see it? Yes, thank you. Okay, so what I was saying is that if you came to the tryout, or maybe you will come in July, you will receive an offer for one of our teams if we are able to make you an offer. So it's not that you choose what team you will be in. Okay, we will make a call based on the evaluation that we have. So we have 3 different tiers, 3 different kind of teams. Okay, so we have the black teams, 2 practices a week, again with the dates that we already. Okay, so you don't see the slide. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix it. Yes, you can now. Yeah. Sorry for that, guys. We lost the signal and probably everything got screwed up. So I was saying you don't receive, you don't choose what team you want to play. Okay, we make a call based on the evaluation, so that you find we do our best to find the right place for your daughter in order to improve in the best way we can. Meaning that if we place a girl in a team that is at a level that is too high, then it will be hard for her to get playing time. The topics of the goals of each practice will not be at the pace that your daughter need. So we understand that if you ask the girls, they all want to play nation. Okay, but sometimes it's just not the right choice. Okay, we try to do our best to create the right path for all our girls. Okay, we're human. Sometimes we make mistakes. Maybe your daughter was at a different level, but we really do our best to find the right place for your daughter in order to succeed in the long run. So black teams, they play normally local tournaments. For us, local means that you don't need to drive for more than 2 hours. Okay, so normally they're in the 3-county area. So you can go up to Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale, you can go to Homestead. Normally you don't drive more than that. Okay, 8-10 tournaments. We normally play the Florida Junior Challenge League with these teams. That is a league that you play just one day between Saturday and Sunday. I can go into details later if you want to. And then we have like 3 or 4 2-day tournament together with them. Then we have the teal teams. So the teal teams are something in between. Last year we didn't name them teal teams. They were all aqua. So you were traveling or you were not. Since we are expanding and some teams are starting to travel nationally. So the teal teams are the ones that travel in-state, meaning that you will play 8-10 tournaments throughout the season. There will be 3 practices a week. One of them will be with conditioning. 3 or 4 of them will require to travel overnight, meaning that they can be in Tampa, they can be in Orlando, they can be in Daytona Beach, they can be in Jacksonville. So we have tournaments that require that you leave on Friday and you come back on Sunday, or you leave on Thursday and you come back on Sunday. So some of them will require that girls miss 1 day of school. So normally there are not too many. There's never the perfect answer, because when we schedule tournaments during spring break, then some parents are upset because it's their way to go somewhere. If we schedule them when we are in school, then some parents get upset because they're in school and they don't want to miss school. So there's never a way to make everyone happy, and we understand it. So normally we choose the ones that are during school time, because it's easier to have everyone first. And second thing, there are some tournaments that we have to participate because they're qualifiers. If you don't know what qualifiers are, we can explain it later. So you have to play those tournaments in order to have access to high-level volleyball. And again, these kind of teams have the AAU National included, so the season ends in the second half of June, whenever the AAU Nationals for that specific age divisions are. And then the aqua teams are the ones that practice the same times of the teal, so 3 practices a week, 2 during the week and 1 during the weekend, and then I will make an exception. One conditioning session of 1 hour every week. Same number of tournaments, but we play at least 1 qualifier out of state, sometimes 2. Talking about the practices during the weekends. Since the tournaments are played during the weekends, and since this year we have more access to our facilities, to Carrollton School and Ransom Everglades mainly, all the weeks in which we have a tournament, we will make up the practice that we lose on Sunday or Saturday, and we will have it during the week. So the 3 practices a week will be granted. Doesn't matter if we play. Doesn't matter if we play that weekend or not. So I'm reading some questions in the meantime, since they're very pertinent. So what is conditioning? Conditioning is strength and conditioning. So we have a weight room in at Carrollton School. Our teams practice 3 times a week. So 3 times they play volleyball, since this is one of the other questions. So they play volleyball 3 times a week. Okay. One of them in connection. So or before or after your volleyball session. We don't need to go anywhere. We just go upstairs. We have a weight room plus an area where we can condition just with body weight. Okay, and we have 1 hour of strength development, agility, and conditioning session, meaning that we do a part that is related to get stronger, get more balanced, get more coordinated without being on the volleyball court. Okay, this is, I hope that it answers the question about what is conditioning. The conditioning session obviously are related to the age of your daughter. So obviously it doesn't matter if you are aqua or teal, you have conditioning. But if you're a U12 aqua or teal team, obviously the way you condition and the usage of dumbbell and barbells, just to give you an example, it's way different of the way you do it with our U17 team, our U16 teams. Okay, so normally we just go with body weight sessions for our younger ones, and then we start introducing them to the weights, so dumbbell and barbells, later in their age, so closer to high school. 8-10 tournaments included 3-4 travel. Yes, they included 3-4 travel. Normally all the clubs are around these numbers. There are some that are lower. They normally offer 7 tournaments. The majority is between 7 and 9. For us, it depends. We stay in that realm between 8 and 10. It also depends on the schedule. It depends on the spring breaks. It depends if you're playing the AAU Nationals or not. So those are things that are related to the specific team. But all our teams last year played at least 9 tournaments. So 9 was the minimum for all of them. Well, since I already started answering some question, I will go on. So tournament schedule is given by the time you invite players to a team. We would love so, but unfortunately we can't. We can give you a draft, and I tell you why. Even if you try out for another club in July, it will not be possible because the tournament organizations don't have dates yet. So it's something that is not related to us, unfortunately. We would love, because even our lives would be way easier with our coaching staff, gyms, and so on. Some of the tournaments are already out, some are not, and they will not be until October. So unfortunately, the tournament schedule will come out between September 1st and October 1st. This is our goal. This is what we try to do every year. But it's something that we don't have under our control, because we have to wait for the tournament organization to release them. And the other problem is that sometimes, even if some of them are already out, we have to wait that the, 2-3 main tournaments go out, because maybe we register to one and then it overlaps with the ones that we have to play, because all the teams, all the clubs play the tournament. So we screw up everything if we don't wait that all the main tournaments are out with their dates. Can you explain a bit more about the boot camp period? 2 skill and 2 conditioning per week. Are they combined on same days, or 4 days per week for the boot camp period? No, it's 2 days. It's 2 days. So this is the thing that, like in Europe, you practice at U12, U14, so junior teams, youth team, you practice 4 or 5 times a week. The problem with Miami, that we understood, that families have a lot of different commitments. You all have a busy life. Traffic sucks in Miami. This is something I understood. So we don't ask you to come 4 times. We ask you to come 2 times and stay there for longer. Not you, your daughters. But we are lucky enough to be in a beautiful facility like Carrollton, so we can combine everything together. So you try once, the girls will stay there more. But they will always have, like, let's say, so talking about the boot camp, they will have 1 hour, 30 minutes of volleyball. Then we will go upstairs. We'll have an area where we can do body weight, physical preparation, plus the weight room. And the girls will be upstairs for other 45 minutes doing this conditioning part with some of the coaching staff, plus our strength and conditioning coach that will lead. It's a certified strength and conditioning coach that will lead all the session. Conditioning can be before or after. That's more a logistic things on our end for whatever works better for the gym, but they will always be connected. Okay. Okay, so there are some questions that are related to tryouts that I will leave for after, if you don't mind. There is one question that is related to the teams. Are these 3 programs, black, teal, and aqua, divided by age level? One black team for U11, one for U12, one for... Yes. So these are the teams. For each age division, we have different teams, okay? So let's say U12, by the way, I'm sorry. Let me go one step back because I want to be clear on one thing. So we as a club, our intention has never been to become a huge club, okay? It's not about having the max number of teams we can, okay? There are a lot of clubs that, you know, like 200 players show up at tryouts, they make 20 teams. They don't care, okay? And then from here to October, they try to find coaches, okay? For the numbers that we have at tryouts in the past 2 years, this year and last year, we could make 25 teams, okay? We make 12. Last year we made 11, this year we make 12, maybe 13, okay? For 2 reasons. First of all, because we create teams based on the coaches that we have before tryouts, because we cannot sleep at night. We don't know who the coach will be, if they will be in good hands or not. So based on the good coaches that we think we have, we create a team. If we don't think that we have a good coach already signed for the season, we don't make the team. The second thing is that anyway, there are clubs that own their own facilities somewhere else, obviously not in Coconut Grove where we are lucky enough to be, like in Doral, Homestead, where they have a facility and so they have to fill the facility in order to break even. We run our club in school gyms. That has pros and cons, obviously. One of the pros, obviously, is that we are in a prime location like Coconut Grove. We are in beautiful gyms with AC, a lot of light, a lot of space, so we love it. But it also means that we don't have this rush of making as many teams as we can. We just get the gym based on the teams that we make. So going back to this, the fact that these are the tiers for each age division. It doesn't mean that for every age division, U11, U12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we will have 4 teams. First of all, because we don't have enough coaches. Second thing is because we don't have enough space in Coconut Grove, so we should ask you to go to Doral. We'll get a gym in Doral and then ask you to commute to Doral. This is something that we don't do. So depending on the age, and depending also on the level of the players, the level of experience of the players that get to the tryout, we decide, okay, I make an example. U12, let's make a U teal team and 2 U black teams. So we'll call them U black and U black Mitsumi, not to diversify them. With another age division, we say, well, this team probably needs to travel nationally. Okay, but we don't want to ask families to. I know that many families get attracted, and many girls get attracted by the fact that somewhere, somehow, a club will offer you a national team. I want to underline one thing: the fact that you get offered a national team doesn't mean that your daughter is better or worse than someone else that plays in a regional team. Okay. They just made the call to tell you that you're going to travel somewhere. Okay, I can do the same. We can do the same. We can say that all our teams travel nationally. You spend $5,000–6,000 more, Okay, you're happy, probably you're happy for the first 30 minutes, then you start, thinking about all the repercussion, and probably you're a little bit less happy. But we can offer a national team to everyone, okay? But unfortunately, many times it's just a marketing move. There's a lot of good competition in Southern Florida. And we don't think that it's necessary to travel and spend so much money in order to get who knows what kind of competition, when you can get great volleyball, spend less time traveling, spend less money, spend more time with the people that you love doing something else than staying in a convention center. So I think that sometimes we make calls that are not based on what marketing or what families want, but what our experience is. And we say, well, in order to get better and to grow, this is enough. So we don't ask you more, no? And then we lost families because they said, well, you only have a state team, but here they offer me a national team. And then they go to a national team, and maybe the national team lose at every single tournament against us, that we are a regional team. Maybe not, don't get me wrong. So, again, it doesn't make any difference. You should ask yourself other things, like, who's my coach? What kind of club am I getting into? Is it a good school of volleyball? Does it make my life easier or worse? Is my girl going to learn things that are important for me? But anyway, let's move on. Otherwise, we'll talk about this later. How many players will be per team per division? I'll let you know when we talk about tryouts. Okay, fee structure. These fees are already, we're online since we opened tryout. We are very clear on everything that we can share. Now, there are things sometimes that we cannot share, like the tournament schedule. I don't know how many clubs have their fees online right now. I think 0. We publish them before tryouts, because we don't want you to spend $50-$60 for tryouts if this doesn't make sense for you. Okay, so we have a registration fee that you will need to pay in order to secure your spot in the team once that you receive the offer, and I will talk about tryouts later. Then we have an apparel fee that will be paid on September 1st. Okay, why? Because that's when we have to order your apparel with our vendor, because waiting time is crazy right now with all the brands, Nike, Under Armour, Mizuno, Adidas. There are 4 main ones. Waiting time is very long, so we have to process those orders right away. And then from October 1st, you start paying your monthly installment. Okay, that, as you can see, is different depending on the team where you are. It's not based on age, so it doesn't mean if you're U11, U13, U16. Okay, if you're on that team, so if you're U11 teal or U16 teal, that's your fee. Also, because your tournaments will be the same, your practice times will be the same. No, practice time, number of practice will be the same. So the offer is exactly the same. The only thing that changes the age. Okay. If you have 2 girls with us in the competitive program, the second one will get a 10% discount. If you have a girl that plays competitive and one that plays in a non-competitive program, the one that plays in the non-competitive program will get a 10% discount. Not on the registration. Okay, the registration will remain the same. One thing about the registration, it's called deposit. It's not a deposit, it's a registration fee. Okay, so the registration fee is a first payment that you have to pay in order to secure your spot. Since I got a question that's asked, what does deposit mean? You're right, my English sucks. It's not a deposit, it's a registration fee. So you pay those $100. It's an entry fee to secure your spot. Unfortunately, in the past 4 years, we had to raise the registration fee every time. Okay, I tell you why. We started very low. The problem is that there are families that pay the registration fees in multiple clubs because, you know, $400 are not an issue. And then at the end of the whole process, when all the clubs close their teams, so they don't have tryouts anymore because they know that they have the players that they need for each team, they drop out from the other 3 clubs and they choose the one they prefer. Okay, and this is screwing every club up. So unfortunately, we have to raise the registration fee because we have to protect ourselves as a business, because we cannot, you know, we say no to a lot of girls, because in the past 3 years, we always had between 350 and 400 players showing up at tryout, willing to come to play at Miami Wave. Okay, and we have to say no, and sometimes saying no is hard, obviously for the girl, for the family, but it's hard also for us. Okay, and saying no for then having someone else that pay 4 registration fee in 4 clubs, and then you know, last moment she chooses, it's not fair. So this is the reason why we had to raise the registration fee. So I hope that I answered the question. So these are our facilities for next year. Okay, last year we waited to show this slide because we didn't have a contract. This year we have a contract. Obviously, they're not binding contract, so their agreement. But you know, I don't see any reason why any of them should drop out. At Carrollton School, I work full time there. I'm the assistant athletic director, so that's our headquarters. That's our main gym. Then we practice at Ransom Everglade Middle School. That is still in Coconut Grove, like 1 mile from there. And then the other gym that we use is Ponce de Leon Middle School, that is in front of UM on US 1. I suppose that all of you know where these gyms are. They're probably less than 10 minutes driving one from each other, something like 5-6 minutes. So we are super happy of the structure that we have and the gyms that we have. I don't know how many can count 3 beautiful gyms like this in such a small area and prime area like Coconut Grove and Coral Gables. So we are happy with what we have. We have other gyms that we use, but we use them only for non-competitive programs. So it's something that you should not be worried about. Okay, so we were talking before about the payment in September. We have a contract with Mizuno, is our technical sponsor, and this is what you receive with your payment in September. In September there will be fitting day, so I will tell you the date later tonight. During the fitting day, the girls will be able to try different sizes. We have our vendor coming from Minneapolis here on site for the whole weekend, so that we can process the orders right away on the same day based on your sizes. In addition to this, we normally open an optional apparel store 2 times a year, in which, you know, whatever you need extra, or if your parents want to buy something extra for yourself, you can do it. It provides the same discounts that we get as a club, so you can buy extra stuff, shoes, and so on. We normally don't offer shoes because it's something very personal. No, each player wanna play with different shoes on, and it's also expensive. So, you know, we prefer that you choose whatever fits your need more than adding something extra to a sport that is already expensive, and I know it. Then, in addition to volleyball itself, we have some programs that we always offer, going back to now one of our goals that is more about life values and life lessons. So we have a sport psychologist that runs some clinics together with the girls. We have a a psychologist that has one meeting with parents on how to support your daughter in her journey as a student athlete. We have team building activities, different team building activities, like we go and we do clean the ocean. So like this was last year event back in October, I think, or in September. So before the season start, and then we bring the girls to watch a or Perry University game. We have a one session with a nutritionist that teach the girls how to fuel their body before, during, and after practice or tournaments. Plus, we have anyway a partnership with a nutritionist here in Miami, with a sport psychologist, with a strength and conditioning coach, so that everything that the girls want to do, or you as a family want to do extra, you know that you have a team of pros that can take care of your daughter and help her with whatever you think is necessary. Okay, in addition to that, we're super proud of our summer camps in Italy. This will be our second season. Those are the numbers of last year camp. It was a great experience, again, a life experience other than volleyball for the girls, for our American girls, that we were able to blend with the Italian ones, blend with the culture, see another way of playing volleyball, another way of living. So it was great. And our girls will leave in 7 days to go back to Italy, back to Tuscany. Okay, so tryouts. And now we will see if we can answer some of the questions. Otherwise, we'll be happy to answer the ones that have not been answered yet. So you come to our tryout. Maybe you have already been there in June. Maybe you will come to the ones in mid-July. Be patient. So the first offers will get out starting from July 1st. So before our second session of tryouts. That one is a sort of, since we were the first one together with another club to run tryouts in June. That one will be a sort of early application, early admission in college. No? So it's like we send you an offer, and that offer, expires. So if you want to go to other clubs, it's fair, obviously. You have to make your calls, you have to see what else is around. Totally understandable, but probably, the early offer is not the right one for you. Okay, so for some of those, so for some of the ones that came in the first session, there will be an early offer. So you will receive an offer for a team. You have 24 hours to reject it or to accept it. Okay, how? In the offer letter, it will say, okay, this is the team. This is the tentative practice schedule. There will be no tournament schedule in the offer letter. This is what is included. This is the link to register. So you click on the link, still Team Snap, the same one that you use to register for tryouts. Click on the link, you pay the registration fee, and your spot is secured. Okay, so once that you pay the registration fee, the spot is yours. No one can move you from the team. We never moved anyone from any team. Okay, so that spot is yours. You go for it. Okay, then you will hear from us closer to September for the first events of the club. Some of you, meaning that we will fill more or less 60% of the team through early admission. Okay, so through those offer letters. For the other ones, you will receive an email saying, hold on, we will make the second evaluation, so the one in mid-July, we'll blend everything together, and then we'll make a final call to offer the spots that are left for each of our teams. Okay, so once that we have completed the second round of evaluation, we will put together an evaluation of the first tryout and evaluation of the second tryout, and we will make a final call saying, okay, So we can offer this player, this team, this player, this team, and so on. Then same thing, you get an offer letter. Normally, if you don't reply in the first hours, we also send a text message, because sometimes, you know, the offer letter goes in the spam or you didn't see it. So we also send a reminder via text, so that we know for sure that you read the email. We ask you a favor, even if you don't want to get the spot, please just reply saying no. Why? Because again, since we have so many players, there are times in which there are players waiting and begging for a spot. So if you don't want it, fair enough, just let us know. You know, we decided to go to another club. We decided not to play club volleyball, so that we can move on and get that spot to someone else that is in waiting list and is begging for a spot in the team. So I think I covered everything on the tryout thing. Again, you will receive an offer on a team that we decide. We will have divisions, so age division, where there will be no aqua team. Okay, normally we will write it down. So if you receive, I don't know, an offer for a black team, like U11, I don't know, we don't travel national with U11 teams and probably even with U12, because we think that is a waste of money at that age. Let you know, pretty easy. So we don't want that you think, oh my God, I was hoping to get a spot in that team. Maybe in that age division, we don't even have the team that you want to play in. Okay, so but we will tell you, you know, I don't know, in this age division we just have the teal team. We start from teal, so we don't have up. Okay, and then once that we complete all the teams, you will get new information about the new events in September, since we are running, you know, a 15-day, a parents meeting, a bonding event, and then in October we'll start. Just to let you know, and then I will answer the many questions that are coming in. 15-day and parents meeting will be on Saturday, September 9th. Okay, so sign it because it's mandatory, and there are no secondary dates to try on your stuff, because our vendor comes to Miami just for us. So she flies in just for us those 2 days. So those are the days that the girls can try on everything. Okay, yes.
And place the orders.
Yeah, and place the orders, exactly. So again, because we are on a tight schedule, no? Okay, I will start replying to some of the question. In the meantime, if you want, this is a QR code for a brochure. Even in the email that we sent you yesterday, there's a link. We have a brochure where you can find all the data. We will share with you the video anyway, and we will share with you this keynote, so you have everything you need. And then we are here to answer the question. So are the girls who tried out early able to try out the second time if they're not offered an early spot? Yes. Okay, they can come. So they have access. Doesn't matter. Even if they got offered a spot, you just want to come for an extra practice, come. Okay. So once that you register for tryouts and you have already participated, come and join us. Okay, it's not a big deal. We already evaluated the girls. They want to come back, even just for practice, they can. Okay, no problem at all. You don't need to pay any additional fee. It's included. How many players per team, per division? Okay, per team, a maximum of 12. Okay, so rosters can go up to 15 legally, meaning that USA Volleyball and AAU, that are the two organizations that organize tournaments, allow up to 15 players. These are the things that even with 12, we had times, luckily not too many, like I can count them in one hand, in these years, that we had to cancel tournaments because we didn't have enough players, okay? Or because some players were sick, or because one specific school had spring break that week and just that one, and we had three kids in that school, and those 3 families were out of town. So we saw that 12 is a good number to allow us to practice properly with a good number of players during practice. It allows us to have enough players for the tournaments, so that we never get under 8, because if we have less than 8 players, we don't go to tournament. So even if something happen, or the family has another commitment, unfortunately that should not happen, we have enough players for that. And the other thing is that all our teams have 2 coaches. So we're one of those, probably one of the only clubs that have 2 coaches per team. Doesn't matter if you're in a black team or in aqua team or teal team. So even if we have 12, the number of feedbacks that we are able to give is always very high during practice and tournaments. And it's a good number to have a replacement in case, by position, in case someone is sick or cannot go to a tournament. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm trying to read. Okay, so where can we see the info regarding tryouts, location, hours? I will write it here in the chat. Anyway, if you go on our website, miamiwavevolleyball.com, and then you go in the 2024 season, there's a page that is called 2023-2024 tryouts. If you click on that page, you can find all the information. You don't find, right now, you find the information for the July session. We wrote down that there could be a makeup August tryout session. Last year we didn't need it, so we didn't do it. I think that we will not need it this year as well. So this is the reason why you didn't find the August tryout dates there, because we are not planning to have them. In case, something doesn't go in the way it seems that it's going, we'll send out an email saying that we are having another tryout session close to the beginning of school. Are the girls who try? Okay, I got this. How many players? I replied. Can you please cover your rules regarding absences from practice? What happens when a player is sick? Do they need a letter from a pediatrician? So normally we're not so strict that we tend to trust our families. Now, when things go south, then what we did also this year with one team was having a meeting saying that, we have to take some extreme measure. We have rules that say that you cannot miss more than 8 practices. If you have more than 8 unexcused absences, so obviously if you're 6, doesn't count as an excused absence. We are allowed, we as a club direction, we are allowed to expel you from the club without relieving you from your financial dues. We hope that we never get to that point, but at the other end, as a form of respect for those families that, again, plan around volleyball, I think we have to do it. Obviously, it reflects on the playing time of the player. Other than that, we keep monitor. So all our coaches keep track of absences and attendances on our app, TeamSnap. So we always have a full picture of who's coming, who's not, how many times did you miss, why you missed. So our goal is to, be understanding, sorry. But at the same time, once the situation start to be there on the edge, we send a reminder saying that there will be a repercussion for what's happening. 8 practices for black teams means 1 month of activity, and this is aside all the vacation, because again, we don't practice during Christmas time, we don't practice during Thanksgiving week. Our practices are non-mandatory, so they're optional during spring break, so we keep them light. So if you're missing those, we practice, but at the same time, if you're missing, it doesn't count in those 8. So, there is room to go on vacation, do other stuff. So if you still miss 8 practice, it means that something doesn't match, our goals. So probably that should not be the place where you are. What happens if you get offer for a black team, but I prefer a regional team? So I suppose that regional means more teal. So yeah, so teal, that is the one that travel in state. You can, well, first of all, you can reject your spot in the black team. You can always call us and we can give you an explanation of why we offer a spot in a black team, what we think is the right place. Then it's up to you to say, well, listen, I'm not interested. I would prefer to play in a travel team, and we'll take a note, and in case something changes, we'll let you know. But we can't move players by request, obviously. One thing that you can say, and this is understandable, I think, is if we place you in a team that travels, and you say, listen, I would love for a lower level of commitment. You ask us to be moved down. Yes, that's something that we do. But we moved up based on our evaluation as coaches. Where do we register for the tryouts? I send the page. So you find it in the chat, miamiwavevolleyball.com/tryouts. Are the dates for the next tryouts in July or August? So yes, again, on that page that you find in the chat, you find the dates for July and you can register. You don't find the dates for August because we don't know if we will have an August tryout. When will those who submitted tryouts videos here? Same thing. So you will get, or in the first batch in July, or you will receive an email in which we ask you to wait until July 17th. So if you don't receive anything before July 7th, feel free to contact us, but before July 7th, you should receive or an offer letter or an email asking you to wait until July 17th. Thank you so much for all the information. You're welcome. For the U11 team, do you try to have a few 9 years old, or do you give preference to the 10 years old and only take 9 years old if not enough 10 years old? So 2 things. The first one, we obviously make an evaluation based on skill readiness. And second thing, we are not fans of speeding up things, meaning that there is no advantage. Also, statistically speaking, there is no great advantage in speeding up the process. So we try to find the best solution that in the long run keeps that girl engaged and in love with volleyball. Meaning that sometimes, if you start at 9 years old, then you end up maybe playing for 4 years in the U12 division, U11, U12 division, that many times are the same. And you end up that you're bored, you don't enjoy it anymore because it's still the same volleyball that you did for 4 years. So sometimes we prefer to give a little bit of exposure to volleyball. Sometimes we have players that, do a sort of blend, so a compromise. Maybe they do little waves, but they come as practice player or they play a few tournaments. So we have intermediate ways eventually if you don't think that is the best fit. But again, we are here to explain it. So it's not that you get a letter and that's it. If you want to ask for explanation, we are here. We want, if you don't understand, what we are doing is useless. We have to work together. So we are always happy to give explanation of what we do. Once a girl makes any of the teams, do they need to try out for next year? Yes, Well, yeah, I'm happy that Raul, you're looking forward. Yes, meaning that every year you have to try out. So it's not like in school, you know, you get into that specific school. So for the whole cycle, you're in as long as you register. Yes, obviously, it's not that we prioritize our players. It's that we are a startup, so we want to build our community, and we are proud of those girls that have been with us since day one, and they're still with us. Some of them are coaching now. This makes us proud. This is one of the things that we want. We want people that stick around with us. Okay, so obviously, we always try to keep the players that were with us in the past with us in the future. But at the same time, we are growing. A lot of new girls are coming, so we have to make an evaluation, because maybe the team where you're playing this year is not the team where you will play next year. So we always run tryouts we try to run them in a fairest way we can for all our players and for the new players, no matter what, also to make it fair for the ones that want to come and join us. Okay, a lot of thank you. Do you have any other question? This is your time. Okay, thank you. No, guys, thank you for staying until 8:30 p.m. listening to my terrible English. So thank you. If you have any news and any questions in the next hours or days, feel free to contact us. Anyway, tomorrow you will receive an email with this video, with this keynote, and other information that you may need. Okay. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Thank you so much.
Your English is great.
Your English is great. You made my day, guys. We can close the club now. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night again. Bye. Bye-bye.